only knew the amount of scrambling before the last, like, 3 seconds before that screen kicks over.
I thought you were gonna call it The Last Supper.
No, definitely not.
I saw a jacket today that had The Last Supper, like, picture on it, and I was like, "Who the fuck would wear that coat? Like, why would you want that coat?"
That would be something else, man. Monday, Monday, Monday.
Gravedigger!
How g how great. I would have to rip the camera off the mount to turn it toward a door if he crashed
Dude,
in.
I'm telling you, it'd be like Kool-Aid fucking breaking through.
The Kool-Aid Man, you mean?
Yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Be sweet if he showed up too.
Anyhow,
Driving Gravedigger.
getting on with the show. It looks like we have audio, so I'm just gonna trust that we do. That's all you can do in some situations.
Yes.
And it being Monday, we're gonna cover some business stuff, man. And essentially with with the stuff that we're good at, what you do, what I do for our we have our day jobs, and then we have our jobs we're trying to make our day jobs, right? I think that's an accurate statement in both
Isn't it
cases.
crazy though to think like we're trying to do like you know what I mean? Like
Not essentially trying, we are.
right, but do you know what I'm saying? Like we're like fighting to like do another different job, but like isn't it I just find it crazy like anybody can just go get a job, whatever, you know what I mean? But here we are like fighting to do our own job. Like
Yeah, well, essentially, and that would be every person's, I think, dream to just, "Hey, I'm gonna" whatever.
mhm.
I'm gonna be a honey and beeswax salesman and go do it and just be successful, make 1,000,000 the first month and, "Hey, I had a month of work and retired, it's
Is that
great."
what's his face?
What? It is.
Oh my god. It's been ages.
Yeah, he's around, he's still here, it's Mr. Chris.
Yeah. I
Welcome back, sir.
yeah. Hi.
Ah,
Mwah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Wow, man. What a
We love you, man.
yeah.
If we haven't said it, we love everybody,
Well, let's not push it.
though. Alright, some people.
Mhm.
But no, that is everybody's dream, to scoot forward 1 inch.
Ugh!
There you go, he made it. I just don't want you knocking your background down.
No, it's Monday.
Very true. But no, it would be the dream to only put a month effort into it. It blows up so big you can retire after a month, but that's fiction, or is that fiction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter's fiction,
Yeah. And
and
like my autobiography is nonfiction.
science fiction is made up shit, so okay, yes,
Yeah.
I used the word properly. Um, yeah, it would be great, but that's not it. So, should we start with some things that we like? I wanted to talk about some things that we do with each of our respective what we're trying to do as a business, or should we talk about some things that to not do?
Oh, we can talk about things to not do. I have a fucking laundry list of those.
Well, but it's specifically with the businesses,
Oh,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
all right, let's one, all right, just okay, doing the repair thing, right? And I know who I am and who I'm not, like as far as repairs, and I've gotten calls from big companies that and when I say big, I'm talking about bigger than me, you know? And I just had one such instance because there's stuff, whether I like it or not, that's out of my wheelhouse. It's not my forte when it comes to repair wise, whether it be computers, game consoles, whatever. There's just some things that I don't do. And I got a call of something that was a little outside of what I do, but I had enough knowledge that I went in and made it work, you know?
Mhm.
But in a bigger environment, like if it was a company that had, you know, hundreds or thousands of employees, one, I probably wouldn't be the guy to get the call. And two, if I was, I would have said, hey, I can do this for you, but you'd probably be better served by calling. And I would recommend a competitor that has people that are way more knowledgeable than me for a big company like that. And specifically talking with dealing with server computers, server admin, stuff like that in like a corporate environment. I don't do much of that. I've messed with it on my own, personally. But when it gets too far outside the realm of that, I know there's people better suited to do the job, and I'm not going to go out and screw something up for a company. Even if I don't end up charging them, I don't wanna go make a small problem bigger
Bigger.
or a big problem way worse for them. But I got a call from, uh, a client of past client of the shop, and they wanted me to go out and do something, and I almost recommended somebody else, but I was like, "You know what? Based on the description," that's the other thing. Based on the description of the problem I got from the customer, you can't always go with what you're especially in repairs, with what they say because, 1, they're calling you to get it fixed. So do they know what they're talking about? Generally not.
No.
But based on a fairly accurate description, I was like, "I think I know what the problem is. Yeah, I'll be right over." Went over, uh, did all my research ahead of time to not mess up their whole file system and server for every other employee that was working from it, and then got the problem fixed within an hour and was out of there. That's one of the things I try not to do is go outside my and it's not a comfort zone. It's just there's some stuff that I don't have tons of experience with that I don't want to end up costing anybody more money that would call me.
Right.
Do you run into that where,
Yeah, I'm an idiot, and I tell everybody yes most of the time. Like,
yes,
that
yes,
stupid banner, like, I ended up having it made by somebody just because, you know what I mean? It was that nobody really had time to do it or figure it out or so I just
get it
I
done.
yeah, I just had it made.
So you subcontract it.
Yeah.
I've thought about that before too. Like calling other people, like, "Hey, somebody called me about this job, but I'm not equipped to do it. You can." you
Right.
know? But the only reason I didn't call people is because they specifically said, "Yeah, I was gonna call them, but no, I'm not. I didn't. I wanted to come here." And it's like, well, you know, and I told a customer, "You'd be better served going with them." And they're like, "Yeah, but I wanna be here." And it's like, "Okay." You know?
Yeah.
I understand that, but it's just getting people. And that's the thing. When you're dealing with people, there's all types.
Mhm.
Like, I al there's all types that you have to, and for not being people persons, if that's accurate, if that's English, we're having this conversation.
Anything's English.
We're having this conversation in English.
Mhm.
Um, I think that trying to hear the like, trying to hear the customer and hear what their problem is or what their wants are, whether they're using proper terminology or not, that can get tricky sometimes. I think on both sides, your side and mine,
Mhm.
specifically, uh I don't know. I That's something I always wanted to kinda ask you. Do you, because we talk other than on the show, obviously.
Mhm.
Have you ever had to deal with, because I know it's never really fallen over to my side with, like, any of the design work that I've done, but have you ran into, like, a real detail-oriented person, like, color had to be perfect, like,
Yes.
how do you deal with that, man? Because I
Um
haven't had to deal with it yet for you.
I try to give him a heads up with the color thing too, because we don't have a fucking I mean, I don't have a Pantone book or anything like that or a mixing system, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'll I'll eyeball it, get it as close as I can for you, but, like, after I
At a
mean,
certain point, you're just
yeah, like,
yeah.
I just it is what it is.
You're also not a giant shop.
No, I'm a kitchen shop.
You're a one-man band.
Yeah, that has 2 jobs already.
Right. But also, don't downplay yourself because you've done some massive detailed orders, like, and not one massive one cut. You've done massive multicolor shirts. Like, I don't know how you pull some of that shit off,
I don't either.
man. You know? Like, I don't know.
It's a
Ah,
surprise to me that I could even do it sometimes.
what about some more to not do's as a small business? Like, you got any lessons out of the book there?
Definitely don't take, like, no when to say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big time, and that's in many cases, like, if you or have too much work coming in, know when to be pump the brakes, man, be like, "Whoa," and give people a heads up, you know? I have to because, like, again, I work 2 jobs already, and, sometimes I'm fucking tired, like, I just you know what I mean? I can't physically do it,
Yeah.
and, I just tell people, like, "This is what it is, I have 2 jobs, like, you wanna come to me, that's fine, it's just probably gonna be a little more in weight than a fucking shop that's just producing shirts 24/7." If I had a shop doing that, yeah, I'd have your shit in 2 weeks, but that's probably not the case.
Yeah.
I'd
And not
like it to
always.
be, but it's not.
And some orders do come in one day and they're back out,
Yeah.
heading out within a week, but that's when things are either A, slow, or B, back when you were taking smaller orders, I believe,
Mhm.
but as you as you move up in skill set in that, you're making more, doing more, and it from an outside perspective, one, it's amazing to see some of the stuff that you do as a one-man band, essentially, and to do it on the equipment you're doing it on, and it also speaks to the quality of the equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I had to tell the rep, like, I basically had to tell the rep where the equipment we got. Yeah, he's like, "You're printing on 40-year-old equipment." I said, "Then quit making your shit so good." You know what I mean? Like, make it crappier then, 'cause it gets still good.
Yeah, it still
Like,
registers,
they
you
did
can
it yeah.
still slam into it with a truck doing 100 and it holds
Yeah, dude, that
registration.
thing I don't think I'd ever get rid of that machine, you know what I mean? Like, just because I can't find I have a trouble enough finding another one. So, like, I've seen, like, 2 since I bought mine, and
Yeah.
I'd like to get another one just to, beef it up and whatever, but, like, I just don't think I'd ever get rid of it because it like you said, after all that time, it's still holding registration. It's still, like and it's nice.
Yeah, and it's not all worn out.
No.
You're trying to improve
Yeah.
because they did make an upgrade kit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wish I'd like to buy someday, but
That's the other thing, like and I know we talked about it with people in the past, just, when you're doing repairs, when do you upgrade your tool set or when you're doing this, knowing that's another thing, knowing when to upgrade your equipment, you know?
yeah, I mean, it was absolutely necessary because I the first press I had, it wouldn't do 2 colors. It just wouldn't, it would not hold registration, so it was
I
necessary to
like and you don't really need to hold registration too much for one color.
No. No.
You just need to get it straight.
Yeah.
But when you move beyond that, yeah, and you can't hold 2 colors, yeah, that's
Yeah, that's the problem.
it also it was kinda and I know we brought it up on the show before, but it was kinda strange that you couldn't put both you couldn't do both at the same time. Either one was down or the other was down, but not both. Like, that's a kicker, man.
It's hard, like, it's I don't know, it's all hard. Ham soda always get yeah, like and I'm in the same boat, man. I don't know. There's many times where I just wanna pack it up and fucking sell it all too, but then I'm like, "Well, what would I do with myself?" And then I'm like, "Oh my god, I have no idea." So,
Yeah.
I keep going, but it drives me nuts a lot of the times, but I don't know what I'd do unless I'd be I don't know how to act otherwise.
It's a good and we've talked, I don't like to keep rehashing or not rehashing, but bringing up the same things, but it's a good feeling when, you're literally in your house, but in my case, I'll be at home and I'll think of something at like 2 in the morning, like, "Shit," and you jump up and you're like, "Oh my god," you either figure something out, thought of something new, you gotta try it. Like, "Why did I not see this solution sooner?" I drive back down here and try it. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I drive my girlfriend nuts with that stuff because, like, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I gotta go." Like,
It's dude, it's and when you think about it yourself, you're like, "I gotta be nuts." Like, nobody does this, and then you find out, yeah, that other people do that.
yeah,
It's and call it nerdy, whatever, it's a cool thing to find out that there's other people that have those moments of, like,
but
"Stop everything."
yeah, just like yesterday with the stupid jacuzzi I was telling you about. Like, for days I was sitting there and I was like, because once I figured out it wouldn't fit over that sleeve, I was like, "Shit, what am I gonna do?" And finally, it just was like, "Oh my god, I got
Yeah,
this."
you
Yeah.
cracked the
Uh-huh.
egg and made the omelet, man. Yeah,
It was a good omelet too.
join me in twiddling thumbs. Believe it, that's what we do every
Yeah, tell 'em
day.
we're trained professionals.
Despite what we say on
Yeah,
any other episode or any other time, even today, after the show ends, we just
yeah,
do this
yeah,
till next Sunday or Monday.
yeah.
That's all. We don't have time for anything else.
Nothing.
Twiddle the thumbs. Sunday comes, we hit the button again.
Mhm.
Thumbs stop for a half hour.
Yeah, then back in action.
No. Um, yeah. No, I like the point that you brought up about knowing when to say no. And as a somebody trying, attempting, or running. We'll say running for sake of argument. As somebody running a small business, as people trying to run small businesses, obviously you want business. You want to do more, want it to grow, want more happy customers, want the word to spread so it keeps coming back. But if you, as you said, don't know when to say no and you get overwhelmed and all of a sudden stuff that was on track and heading out the door on time, getting done in a timely manner, it all piles up and compounds and then it's all late
Yep.
instead of one person that might have respected you saying no, not quite right now, but
Right now you pissed off 3 or 4
yeah,
of your people.
or 10.
Yeah, yeah. And my problem is that when I get overwhelmed, I shut down. Like, when I get overwhelmed so bad, like, I just completely shut down, like, I can't do anything.
I think most people do when they get overwhelmed, like, because whether people think it or not, it exists in this space. And it's not a sense that I shut down and don't do nothing, but I shut down work. Like, if it gets too overwhelming, I shut down work, and then that's when the gears will start turning on either on myself, and if I can get past the being overwhelmed for a little bit to get away from the work and get past that overwhelmed feeling, I may pull out something I've had on the back burner to take my mind off of what everything overwhelmed me and just think about that one sole thing for a little bit. And after my head clears and, a little bit of work on my own project, whatever, a little bit of time. And when I mean time, I don't mean like I don't do stuff for weeks or months. I mean, it might be a day
Right.
or two max. But after focusing on one sole thing, a project of mine or this or that, or just taking a day to reflect and organize thoughts, then I'll, you know, uh, light the tires back up and get it going. Everything back on and let the gears turn.
Yeah, my girlfriend's been teaching me, like, I don't know, she's very, very organized person, and I am not at all.
Yeah.
So she's been helping me with that, and it's been helpful. Like,
Well, organization is a big thing, but it can also be like I think it can be overdone
no, absolutely.
in a sense too, because you could if you deal with any type of OCD and you're getting something organized and you get used to that, anytime like something is out of place, you're like constantly, putting something back. Anytime it's a little out of place and then you're spending your time just
Yeah.
constantly filing and sorting. And I went through a phase like that and I'm just like, nope. I like the way where I have a mental representation of where it is in 3D space and I'll go there to get it. But then having kids, that can really mess with you when you sort stuff that way of where it was. That's kind of like uh whatever. You're looking for your phone and you know what your phone looks like, but you forgot the fact that you got a new case and you're not used to that yet. And instead of it being it's flipped over and you've looked at it 20 times
Happened to me last week.
and you haven't because it's a new color case or whatever,
Mhm,
you've looked at it 20 times and haven't seen it, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, last week.
Or the kids move something so it's not where it was. And I've looked it 10 times over because it was on the other side of the room. Like that happens to me all the time.
I don't even have kids, it just happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I do it. I'm not gonna lie. I do it to myself too. I'll move something and
I drive myself fucking nuts, dude. Like, legit, I drive myself fucking crazy.
well, you can't. You got to at some point,
Right, I
but
mean,
also,
I don't know what CBA means.
I'm looking. One good point. We're gonna read from the chat here. We got Mr. Chris dropping some knowledge, I believe. One good point of running or trying to run a business is property. Yes, the charging doesn't have to be as much when working at home, but it's so easy to be slip into CBA day at home.
Uh,
Oh, can't be asked.
oh,
Yeah, it can't be asked.
gotcha.
Asked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, I
yeah.
see.
That's
Yeah.
the yeah. That's the what do we call? What is that over here, man? On this side of the pond, is that the buckets?
Yeah,
Yeah, bucket.
yep, talk to think about it later.
Yep. Doesn't exist right now.
Mm-mm.
The only thing that exists is my shit. See ya. Yeah, no, that's and I don't think that's just a, UK, US. I think that's a worldwide thing, like
Yeah.
but when you are at home, one good point I think is when you're at home or if it's a home-based business, it's so much easier to slip into that also too, like, because
All your shit's there.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's no separation from work and home.
No, and then when you're living in it, it'll drive you fucking nuts too.
That's also that's the point I was just gonna bring up, like, when and I just recently moved out of the place I was living. I lived there for, like, 10, I think 10 years, between 10 and 11 years, and it was literally even though I would leave there to come down here, I would return home, but it's like anytime I was at home, it's like I never left my other job because I was right there,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. And they were
And
up your ass 24/7.
yeah, and it's kinda freeing not constantly being there, you know? When I
Oh,
ev
that's gotta be good on your soul, man.
like, when I'm at work is one thing, but then leaving work and just going upstairs, like, it was like I never left.
Right. But now you have some separation to it.
Yeah, and it feels a little different, it feels better.
Does it?
Yeah, and
That's
it's
good.
the same thing that's because 'cause you're thinking about I don't wanna, like, blow up what you may be into or not, but you're thinking about, getting a space, trying to, not certain, that's up in the air whether or not, but I think it will be good because there is that separation, like, um I don't know. Kinda think of it like when we come and do this, and then we're done here, and, after done hanging out, do the show, hang out some more, and then you take off. It's gonna be the same thing with your work when you have a space.
Right.
Yeah, you'll probably have a computer at home that you can do emails,
Right, and,
look at
and
files
I'll
and that.
still, like, print stickers and stuff at home, I'm sure, but, like, at the same time, like, just, like, not waking up and walking out in my kitchen, and first thing I see every day is that screen printing machine. It's just like
Right. You'll have to go to your shop to
yeah,
see that. It is a nice feeling
and you
having
can get
that separation.
on your way to the shop or whatever, you can get that mindset of where, you know what I mean? "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what it is," instead of,
Yeah.
people stopping at the house or just, whatever, like, it's just always something.
Yeah. And there's that too. There's, like, the the level of what you can do, I find unless I'm not rich, you're not rich, we don't have mansions,
Mhm,
but the level of what you can do at home is very limited by the space you have,
mhm.
and when you expand that into a shop, it yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna free up both worlds,
it improves, yeah, it
Yeah.
frees up your living space and, you know, you also have more room in a shop because you're not living in the shop.
Mhm.
Well, I guess some people live in their shops, but not us.
No.
Well, not me, not
No,
yet.
I know.
But no, that's some to-dos and not do's, man, if you can. If you don't have it, that would be as we both just stated, when you are able to separate life and work, do so because it can improve things,
Yeah.
I think.
Eh,
Improve workflow,
absolutely.
everything.
Yeah, just all of it. Another thing, quickly before because I must go here in a little bit, but quickly, another thing is, oh geez, I just lost it. Oh, when people, like, wanna help you, like, you per se different, but, like, you know what I mean? When people are like, "Oh, bring your stuff out here and this and that," like, how many times did I move out shop? You know what I mean? My stuff, like, 3, 4 times, like,
Yeah.
it just no, do it for yourself because, like, it just, like, for the
Yeah.
most part, partnerships don't work out for the most part.
Yeah. I would say ours is on a
Ours
mm,
is on a weird level, man, and it works, and it's just because it's weird.
yeah, but it's not like it's not really a partnership
No, not at all.
because 'cause you're doing your thing, I'm doing mine.
Right,
Yeah, whereas other people were like, "Hey,"
right, right.
you know what I mean? And
Mhm,
yeah, I don't know. It is tough working with somebody though too, because when that's another thing, and I will say that because I have some experience in it, just working on stuff with you
mhm,
and working with other people in the past. When you're doing something together with somebody business-wise, it's good to have space because and I would like to think, if I have this wrong, correct me, but I think we exist in different spaces because there's times where whatever, if we happen to be on the street, we see each other, right?
Mhm.
And we're just friends.
Mhm.
We can talk about business, but generally we don't.
No.
But sometimes we'll talk business before a show, then get on to show matters like this.
Mhm.
And then there's only days where we're not talking anything about this show or life. It's like we're strictly,
Business.
yeah,
Yeah.
business stuff. And it's like 3 different spaces that we exist in, and
And there's some days we don't talk at all. We go sometimes days without talking to each
yeah,
other.
or a
Yeah.
week
Yeah.
in some cases, yeah, without talking because busy, busy,
Right.
and
The space thing. Yeah.
yeah, stuff's falling in line where it needs to be, and there's no need to talk or
Right.
communicate, or one or the other person may get worried,
Mhm.
you know? But it just having that clear line of separation and expectations of, personal space or personal day, work day, it
Mhm.
not talking about that, which we've talked about it before, but not talking about that when working with somebody, I think can be harmful too. Like, you know what I mean? Not having that conversation can be harmful to whatever you may be trying to do, whether it be business or hobby that you do together with somebody. Yeah. At least that's how I perceive it,
No, same here, man.
is if it just an example, like, um, whatever, like, you're sitting down with a friend to do a podcast and, like, or do a live stream of a show, podcast, whatever you wanna call it, and it's doing nothing. But and then all of a sudden it blows up huge, and then it turns into a monetizable thing. Well, if you never had the conversation of like, "Hey, I'm doing this work, you're doing this portion," you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You can't really, like, having a conversation after the fact doesn't really work because that ends up ruining relationships and everything. But if you know what's expected of each other, that's how you can work as a team on something.
Yeah, but you gotta have that conversation first.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I think it's pretty important because say something does happen with it afterward. It does turn into a job, and all of a sudden you're showing up for the job because you're interested in what's happening, where it's going, and I'm just like, another job, fuck it, and I'm not.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Well, or the other way around, I'm showing up and you're not. That's not going to work the same
Mm-mm.
because once something becomes, if you're trying to do something as a business or a hobby, and to turn the hobby into a business, and you start making money at it and you don't, you know what I mean? That, yeah. I don't know if I explained that well or not.
Well, it just comes about, money can just change everything.
Yeah, it does, and
Mhm.
it will. It always has
Yeah.
with people. And if you have that conversation ahead of time that, "Hey, I'm doing this lifting, you're doing this lifting, da da da," it seems to work out better, and you can end up still having your friend or your business partner or whatever they may be. But again, don't take our word for it.
No, not at all.
Is there some catchy slogan or something? What is that? Don't take my word for it. Where is that from?
I have no idea.
Is it an old kid show?
I don't know that one.
What was Reading Rainbow? Did they say that on there? Don't take our word for it.
I don't know, but take a look, it's in a book. It's
Yeah,
Reading
that's the
Rainbow.
theme song.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna find out who said that. Don't take our word for it. That
Alright,
is the thing, though.
alright, hey, I trust you.
I will find it. No, but anyhow, it is Monday since it's not a monster truck show, and we can't be expected to hang out till Gravedigger comes out.
No, or the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh, Monday.
Yeah,
We should know better than try and pull something off on a Monday, man.
it backfires quickly.
Yeah, but it didn't today. It actually went through without
Yeah, it went pretty well.
without any hiccups.
Yeah.
Normally, like, shit's crashing, explosions going off.
Gravediggers in the middle of the shop. He wasn't even supposed to be here today,
Oh,
Y
that's Clerks. Not
Yeah.
even supposed to be here
Yeah, yeah, for
today.
sure, yeah. Yeah, it's the truth.
Hey, Mr. Michael, it's good to see you, sir. Thank you for chiming in. I just saw your message, whether it just came in or it's been in, and I just looked and noticed.
Yeah, are you ready to wrap? Because I gotta go to
Yeah, you got a thing to do. I got a road call to go on.
yeah.
And that's cool. I don't think I wanna say, I don't think everybody's in a position to be able to stop working
And
on
do
a
a
work day.
yeah, and do a podcast. Yeah. No, that's fair.
E
Yeah.
either either we're doing something right to where we can do that, or we're extreme fucking idiots
Yeah. And I
for
and that's yet
attempting
to be
such,
determined.
and I'll take credit for the idiot part,
Yeah,
like,
same here. I'll wear that on yeah, I'll wear that on my chest.
Sign us up, man.
Yeah.
We're not
For
qualified,
anything.
don't trust us. Anyhow, end this show, Jimmy.
Um, what does Kool-Aid say? He says, "Oh, yeah."
Is that what he says?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
What, right before he crashes through the wall?
Uh-huh.
Is that where you're ending it?
I think so well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I got nothing today. It's Monday.
It is
It's
Monday.
not a fun day. It's a Monday. End it there.